Hello everyone, watch this review here where they look at Bane from the Dark Knight Rises Movie Masters line. Now when I originally saw photos of the character, wasn't so much caring about this one, possibly considering skipping picking him up even though I wanted to build a bat signal, but after seeing the film I do like the sort of character likeness a bit more, so I did make him a priority. Unlike a lot of the other ones in this wave where, I just don't so much care about the characters, especially the Batman, because we've had a few of them at this point. But hold on a second and I'll get him out of pack. Bane comes with, well, a piece of the bat signal. This part sort of, pushes in to fasten in place. As for the figure itself, I've never, ever, and never will be a fan of the Movie Masters scale, because, it's quite a bit shorter than a lot of other lines, which is just sort of weird, especially I don't see why they wouldn't just make it the same size as the DC Universe Classics. Yeah. But Bane is a bit tall for a Movie Masters figure. To give you an idea of scale, here's Hal Jordan from the Green Lantern one. So, in the film he was bigger, so it's fitting and everything, and as a result of being larger than usual, he does kind of fit in scale with some other lines, so there's that, as opposed to being a bit shorter. As for the figure itself, it's really not a great figure, and it's just because of this darn trench coat. It constricts basically all movement. Can't really get any forward back, and then, so much of it, I don't know, it's just sort of space taken up. And it just looks so cheap because it's a soft rubbery plastic, and even the paint apps aren't all that great. So, they don't have as much sculpting or anything as opposed to, like, the amount of sculpting you see on the arms. And before you can say you can just take off the trench coat, well, the problem is the arms still have, like, the trench coat sleeves, so not a solution. Sort of wish they would have just done a variant where he had, like, bare arms and stuff, and, still with his tactical vest, but, offhand I can't recall how much he actually wore a trench coat. And there is a sort of bare-chested version of this figure. It's a Toys R Us exclusive in a 2-pack. I can't recall when he actually went without his shirt, though. I think just when Gordon falls into the sewers or whatever. But now, if you look at the tactical vest, it's got some pretty cool paint apps. It's got this really nice green with some sort of an odd effect. The only issue there is I don't recall the tactical vest really having a lot of color to it. I thought it was mostly flat. So if you look at the inner coat, you'll notice that it's sort of painted in, but right beyond that, nothing. Which kind of sucks. Sleeves have the same sort of brown mixed with black. The pants, sort of a flat plasticky color. Assume it's probably just the color of the molded plastic. Now, one thing that sort of bothers me is they didn't bother doing a cut here at the boot. Granted, you can sort of rotate right here above the knee, but it's not quite the same thing, especially because it's sort of a natural area of division, where you would expect the additional point of movement. The head sculpt, I don't know. I guess the head sculpt itself is probably okay, but something about the paint just bugs me. If you see all these sort of detailed colors in the figure, then, the paint more or less doesn't have any texturing for the face, which strikes me as being odd. You'll also notice that the color for the lower neck here is a few shades different. It's a lot darker. I don't understand why they did this. Well, yeah, I do kind of understand laziness, but, I don't, understand why they would let something like that just pass. So, yeah. It does match his fists, though, so at least there's sort of a parody there, or parody's not the word I'm looking for. Yep. Now, in terms of articulation, we have an ab crunch, which we can't really use, because he doesn't really get much back motion, although you sort of have to push it as far back as possible just to get a really cool, compelling standing pose. if you push it forward and everything. I don't know, something about looks funny. Part of that's just because he can't turn his head up, it only rotates, which is just sort of a running thing with this line, which annoys the heck out of me. The arms are on ball sockets. We have a pin here at the elbow and then rotation at the wrist. I'm not sure why we can't ever get a cut here just for bicep rotation, but whatever. We have one of those joints with the outward motion here at the hip, as well as a little bit forward impeded by belt. Kind of annoying, especially because the other side is sort of impeded by the jacket. Point of rotation above the knee, single pin at knee, and then single pin at ankle. All in all, you know, it's cool just because I wanted a Bane figure, but it's really not a great figure by any stretch of the imagination, and the Movie Masters line in general, specifically the Batman The Dark Knight Rises imprint, is just pretty weak, so I don't know. I mean, if you can find a nicer collectible, probably want to go for that. I mean, the Player at Sky Bane, I think, is already available for pre-order, or it might already be out by the time I upload this, so that's probably the nicer route to go, but that one costs quite a bit more. I think it's about $40 as opposed to this one, which originally ran for $15, $16, but you can probably pick them up for like $10, so just depends what you expect and whatever. But this has been a look at the Movie Masters The Dark Knight Rises Bane. I'd say you could probably pass on him unless you really want to build that bat signal. I'm not sure if I want to spend enough money to, well, buy the rest of the figures in the line, especially because a lot of them are even worse than this. Until next time, folks.